You know, on page 1 of Coyote's Guide, chapter 1, Coyote is our guide. There's a song in the sidebar, and you'll see an image of co-author Evan McGowan on the bass and the author of that song, Tim Weed, on the mandolin. And music has a big part to play in this piece of Coyote mentoring teaching that Evan offers. I mean, he tells the story of Coyote mentoring through the eyes of a jazz musician learning to connect to nature, and he keeps drawing parallels to that. The reason he's doing that is because if you left it up to me to be the voice of this book, I would tell you all about tracking and I would lose you because most people don't know what I'm talking about, and that's okay. But Evan quickly saw the parallel, being both a person trained in nature connection, tracking, and awareness, as well as music. He saw the parallel right away. And his mutual friend, as well as my good friend, Victor Wooten, brings a lot to the Coyote mentoring conversation. And his background is music. That's what he's steeped in. That's what he does. He also loves the martial arts, and he loves other disciplines that are related to everything that's in Coyote's Guide. And he's got a lot of really interesting stuff to say about how nature makes you better at everything, and that if you can connect people to nature, you can help them access that gift within them that is waiting to be polished and shine. And that's exactly what Victor's about to talk about. So enjoy that, and look forward to the webinars that follow behind these pieces that we're offering you now, which will be very useful tools to help you learn how to work with this book, Coyote's Guide, with the people you serve in your area. So I look forward to Victor's comments, and wait till you see this interview with Victor Wooten. Thank you. Hey, we're about to call our friend Victor Wooten, and he's done great stuff with Coyote mentoring. He's really proud of the work that he's able to do now because of Coyote's Guide, and I think you're going to really enjoy what Vic has to say. He's always got some great insights, and he's going to share some of his secrets to how he made his book, The Music Lesson, really work well as his bass nature camps, and just in general. I mean, he's a real deeply connected man, not only to music but to nature, and he's got a lot of really great stuff to say. So come on, let's go. Let's give Victor a ring and see what he has to say about Coyote's Guide. Well, first, Vic, thank you a ton for being patient with us and being willing to do this.
You're welcome.
The first question I want to ask you, Vic, is what's the results of connecting people to nature at your base nature camps? Like, why do you bother with nature? That's the first thing. You know, I'm sure you've had to address this before, but what do you tell people, and what can you say about it from your experience now?
Yeah, well, in my mind, nature is the basis of all things. And the one thing I like about talking about nature with people and explaining nature to people is you can do it without, and I hope I don't offend anyone here, but you can do it without having to involve religion. So in other words, I don't have to step on anybody's toes. I can talk about the same things, but I can call it nature. But nature is the basis of all things, to the point that when what I believe is that we're all trying to be like nature, whether we realize it or not. Our goal is to become like nature. In other words, no one has to teach a tree how to grow. No one has to tell a bird how to sing. It's just a natural process. And whenever, as humans, whenever we even get close to that natural process, we get excited, and people say, wow, you know, that person, he or she is a natural. He's so natural. And natural meaning having the characteristics of nature or being like nature. So like for me being a musician, when I play, I don't want to have to work hard. I don't want to have to concentrate or focus. I just want to be what we call in the zone. And that's when things are happening naturally. And so we're all questing to be like nature. Mm. But for musicians, and I'm just going to speak about music because that's my territory, what musicians do to become like nature is we lock ourselves in a room. And we call it the woodshed. But we pull ourselves out of nature to become like nature. And I believe that if we knew that it was nature we were trying to become, we would understand our need to immerse ourselves in nature. And so in a sense, that is my goal when I'm working with musicians, or really all people, is to reconnect connect us with nature so that we can all become more natural.
Do you see results that are obvious when you're working with the base nature camp experience with people? where you see them shifting and changing as musicians or even as people from this experience?
Yes, and it happens quickly. And it happens to anyone. You know, anybody, if you go out to the woods and you take a walk down a trail, and whenever you surround yourselves with nature, you start to realize that all of a sudden you slow down. You're walking slower, you're talking softer, and things just slow down. So at our camp with our students, spending a week in the woods playing music, you see that process happening. And when you slow down, your mind opens up. Everything about you opens up. You become more aware. And in a sense, I have to do less teaching. Nature can do it. Or nature opens the student up so that they can become their best teacher.
Nice.
You know, nature is our home, and to not understand our home is silly and dangerous.
Nice. Well, I have one more question that will wrap it up, and that is, how do you tie your work with Jon Young's Coyote's Guide? Like, just give a quick sentence or two to orient people on.
Yeah. Well, one of the main things is after I do a workshop, I'll have teachers come up to me and talk about my method of teaching. You know, wow, you have an interesting method of teaching. And, of course I thank them, but I can also tell them that it's not strictly my own method. There's a place where I learned how to do this. Of course my parents and my brothers, but there's an actual guide. There's an actual book you can hold in your hands that will help you become a better teacher, And so it's nice to be able to offer that to people. And so that's one of the things that I do, is be able to talk about Coyote's Guide and also talk about other places that they can go, and be mentored in this way. Jon Young's classes, Tom Brown, and a few other teachers. And so, because most of the time when I'm talking with people one-on-one, there may be a line of people, so I don't get a chance to spend a lot of time with any one person. But having something to offer them as, okay, you like what I'm doing? Here you go. That's a good thing. It's one of the main reasons I'm glad the Coyote's Guide exists. The teaching's always here, but now that it's actually in print, to me, that's beautiful.
Right on. Well, thank you. This has been unbelievably rich. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks you all.
Yeah, we're really, really looking forward to these webinars, which will be great tools for people to access a lifetime's worth of material and how to get in there and how to make it accessible for you and the people you serve in a really fantastically easy way to understand. So your parents will understand it, the teachers are going to understand it, the kids may not understand it, but they just want to play outside anyway. But I think they'll even understand it. We're going to offer that to you as well as some great bonus material. For instance, first 100 people who sign up for this can get access to the full interview with Victor, because that was a great interview. You got to see some snippets of that, but he shares some really great stuff. We just didn't want to tie up your time with everything he has to say, but I know a lot of people have said, I want to see this whole thing. So we're going to make that available to the first 100 people, and we'll see where that goes from there. It might be available later in another form, but mostly we're interested in getting you this guide sent to you, for being part of this webinar program, and again, for free as well as shipping. And this is a heavy book, so that's a lot. And I think when you hold this thing in your hand, you are going to be as excited as we are. It's such a beautiful book. It is such great material, and we're feeling really good about where it is right now.